Hello guys, my name is Srinivas Rao. I am a Python trainer. I have 20 years of experience both in project as well as in teaching experience. So, in previous video we have discussed about what is object, what is class, how to create class, how to define a class, how to create a object. These points we discussed in the previous video session, and in this session again once we will create one class and we will discuss about methods. What are methods and how to call the methods in the class. Okay. So, I will go to PyCharm, I will create one class. For example, the same class I will create student class student. In the student class, okay, now I will create one method, def one function or a method we can say underscore. This we will discuss today. What is this underscore init? Underscore init. What is this underscore init and what is this self we will discuss today. Right. Now, I want to declare 3 variables or attributes. Okay. So, after self in this init method, after self for example, I will declare roll number, name of the student and age of the student. So, these 3 are attributes of student, roll number, name, age, and what I will do? I will say self dot roll number equals to roll number. So, what is this statement also we will discuss today? What is line number 4? Self dot roll number equals number, what is that? And self dot name equals to name and self dot age equals to age. Self dot roll number equals to number, name equals to name, age equal to age. Okay. This is one function. Another function def display, a function or a method. Next method display, the first variable self, and what is self we will discuss. Okay. Now, I want to display the details of this roll number, name and age. So, I will say print here, print roll number in double quotes, means it will print that string roll number, and I want to print the value of roll number. So, I will say self dot RNO. Then next print name comma self dot name. Same way I will say print age self dot age. My class is done. In this class, in the student class, I created 2 methods. One is the init underscore init method, and another method is called display method. Okay. This is underscore init method. What is the use of this method? Okay. We will discuss. What is this self also we will discuss. And here there are 3 variables I declared in this init method. Okay. And these 3 lines, line number 4, line number 5, line number 6. This is called initialization, initializing the attributes, initializing the values of the attributes Okay. Initializing, while when we create the object, we will initialize these values. Okay. For example, now after defining this, we have to create the object. So, how to create object? std1, for example, obj std1 equals to class name is student. Okay. In the brackets, we will give 100. This is roll number. See, here we have declared 3 attributes or variables in this init method. So, here I will pass here, for example, Rohit comma age is 19. First object is created. When the object is created, okay, these values will be initialized with 100, Rohit and 19. Now, I tell you what happened when you execute this. See, a main program starts from line number 14. When you execute this line number 14, what happens? These values will be initialized. Okay. Let me when you execute line number 14, this 100 will initialize with roll number will initialize with 100. This Rohit will be name will be initialized with name, and age, this 19 will goes to age. Means when you create the object, the value of roll number is 100, it is initialized with 100. That is why it is called init method. When you execute line number 14, this Rohit will pass to name, means this name is initialized with Rohit. Same way, when you exit line number 14, this 19 will pass to h, and this self dot h is initialized with what? 19. Means here it will be self dot roll number contains what? Self dot roll number contains what? Here it contains 100. Now, here the value will be invested with 100, okay. And when you create the object, when you exit line number 14, okay, when you instantiate this object, instantiate this class, okay, what happens? Name becomes Rohit. So value of self dot name is nothing but Rohit. Same way, when you exit line number 14, okay, this 19 will pass to h. So this self dot h, it is initialized with what? 19. Means the value of self dot roll number is Rohit, self dot name contains Rohit, self dot roll number contains 100, self dot name contains Rohit, and self dot h contains 19. Okay, right. This happens when you run this program. When you run this program, these are initialized with these values. Okay, right. Now, I want to call this method. I want to call this method display method. If you want to call this method, we will see the syntax. Syntax for calling the method. Syntax for calling the method. How? By using object name dot method name or function name, whatever method name, bracket open, bracket close. So, I want to call this method. Which method? Display method. If you call this, if you want to call this method, what happens? Obj, okay, wait to put dot operator, okay, dot method name. See, this is display method, and run this program. When you run this program, what happens? Now, please here displaying roll number 100, name is Rohit, and age is 29. Right. So, once again, when you execute line number 14, this method is this method is automatically called, implicitly called. No need to call explicitly, it will call implicitly, internally it will call. Automatically this method is called automatically, and this 100 will pass to roll number, this Rohit will pass to name, this age is passed to age, and it will be initialized with these values. Okay. So, the value of roll number will become 100, and self dot name contains Rohit, and self dot age contains what? Self dot age contains 19. And finally, we will call this method. This display method, normal method is called by using a dot notation, object name dot a method name or function name, display method. So, it will display the details of student. Right. So, once again, so see this slide here. What is the name of the class? The name of the class is employee, and we have init method. Init method we have declared two variables, two attributes, name of the employee, age of the employee. So, this is called initialization. Okay. Line number 4, line number 5 is called initialization. We will initialize the values when you create the object, the initial values, this Krish will pass to name, this 21 will pass to age. Now, the value of self dot name is nothing but Krish, self dot age is nothing but 21. So, this part is called initialization. Line number 4, 5, 6. Line number 4, 5, 6 is called initialization part. This part is called initialization. See the red color box, what is this called? This is called initialization. Initializing the values when you create the object, the values, starting values. So, this red color box is called initialization. Okay. That is why this method is called underscore init underscore. So, this initial method exclusively used for initializing the attributes or variables, the starting values. We will pass starting values when you create the object. Okay. So, we understand how to define a class, how to define a methods, how to declare variables, how to create the object, and how to call the methods. See here, defining class, line number 1 is what? Defining class, the class name is student. Then defining one method or function, init method, init function. What is the use of this init method? To initialize the variables when you create the object. and this normal method a display method. This display method will display the details of this student. Okay. And line number 14 is what? Line number 14 is the main program starts from here, okay, not from here. Line number 1 to line number 12 is just definition of class, but main program starts from line number 14 when you create the object. This is called object creation. I can create n number of objects based on one class, we can create n number of objects, then this is calling display method. It is calling display method, it will display, and finally we get the output as what? Output is what? 100, roll number is 100. Please here roll number is 100, name of the student is Rohit and age is 19. Right, we understand what is class. Okay. So, employee is the name of the class. See this class, this example, employee is the name of the class. Okay. Init is a method, display are the methods. Init is initialization method and display is normal method. Name and age are attributes or variables, even E2 or objects, even E2 or objects, and line number 16 and 17 is what? Even dot display will display the object one details, that is employee, first employee object details, second employee details, line number 17 E2 dot display. Right. Now, our next topic is what? Constructor. What are constructors? What are types of constructors we will discuss today. So, just now I told you now what is this init method. See this init method underscore init, this method is called constructor. This method is called constructor. Okay. So, what is constructor? Constructors are used to initialize the object state, to initializing the object state. The task of constructor is to assign values to the data members, example roll number, name and age. When the object of class is created, when the object of class is created, we will assign the initial values to the attributes, that is the concept. Like methods, constructor also contain collection of statements, instructions that are executed at the time of object creation. It is run as soon as the object of the class is created or instantiated. When the class is instantiated, when the object is created, this method is called automatically. Implicitly it will call, no need to call explicitly, it should call automatically. So, this method is useful to do any initialization work. See here, this method is useful to do any initialization you want to do with your object. So, exclusively this method contains all initialization statements. This method contains only initialization statements. Example, self dot roll number equals to roll number, self dot name equals name, self dot age equals. So, this method is called what? Constructor. This method is called what? Constructor. Constructor method. Constructor method. Right. And this is a normal method, this is displays a normal method. So, constructors are used to initialize the object state. The task of is to assign values to data members of the class when the object of class is created. Like methods, constructor also contain collection of statements, instructions that are executed at the time of object creation. No need to call explicitly, this method is called automatically, implicitly. It is run as soon as the object of the class is initialized, and the method is used to do any initial you want to do with your object. Okay. I will show one example, just a minute. For example, I will create one class demo, the name of the class is demo. What I will know? I will create one constructor def underscore init self, okay, and just I will say print hello, I will say print hello. I will create one more method def greet, okay. There are two methods, one is init method and one is greet method, and I will say print good evening, right. This is a class definition. Now, what I will do? I will create one object. So, obj object name equals to demo class, as there are no attributes here in after self in init method, and no need to pass any arguments because there are no parameters, right. When the object is created, see at line number 10 what happened? One object is created. When this object is created, this method is called implicitly. So, when I run this program, this method is called, and what it prints? It prints hello, hello is printed. but I want to call this method. So, if you want to call this method, we have to call explicitly. We have to call explicitly. So, by using obj dot greet method and run this program. So, it is printing hello and also it is printing good evening. Okay. So, means this method is called automatically, no need to call explicitly, but we have to call this greet method explicitly. That is the difference between constructor methods and normal methods. So, mostly constructor methods are used to initialize the attributes. This constructor are used to initialize the attributes of the object or variables attributes exclusively used for initializing purpose. So, see here in this we have initialized this one by using this one, and in this example please see this example also same here. See here init method, this init method used to initialize this employee's name and age, right. So, what is constructor? Constructor are used to initialize object state. The task of constructor is to initialize assignments to the data members of the class when the object of class is created. Like methods, constructor also contain collection of statements that are executed at the time of object creation. It is run as soon as the object is of class is initiated. The method is useful to do any initialization you want to do with your object. So, what is init underscore underscore init underscore underscore in Python? A constructor of class in Python. A constructor in Python is defined by using underscore underscore init underscore underscore method. The Python underscore underscore init is a reserved method in Python. It is reserved. The name is reserved. Okay. That behaves like any other functions of the class, except the statements under definition are used to initialize the data members. Exclusively used for data initialization. That is why the name is called INIT. INIT is nothing but initialization. Okay. So, except the data under definition are used to initialize the data members of class in Python. That is basically it contains assignment statements. Basically it contains all assignment statement. This method is called automatically when the object is created, when the class is instantiated, or when you create the object. In case of inherits, that we will discuss later, inherits mass we will discuss later. So, how does this method works? How does underscore underscore init underscore underscore method works? The Python init method is declared within the class and it is used to initialize the attributes of the object as soon as the object is formed. While giving the definition for INIT underscore underscore init self method, a default parameter named self is always passed the argument. See, whenever create any method, see here there is one self variable, here there is one self variable. We will be discussing about this, what is the self variable also in detail. So, while giving the definition of INIT, in practice there is one variable called self variable. It is a default parameter named self is always passed as an argument. The self represents object of the class like any other method of class. In case of INIT also, self is used as a dummy object variable. It is a dummy variable, and what is the use of dummy variable we will discuss. Okay. So, this variable where in line number 4 there is one self variable, in line number 10 in display method also there is one self variable. What is this self variable? What is the use of this self variable? That we will discuss. Okay. Right. Is used to dummy object variable assigning values to data members of the object. The init method is often referred to as double underscores. See, this init method will have prefix with 2 underscores and after that init 2 underscores, before init 2 underscores, after init 2 underscores, prefix and postfix. Okay. The method, the underscore method is often used as double underscores init or dunder, we will say dunder init, for it has 2 underscore on each side of the name. These double underscores of both sides of init imply that the method is invoked and used internally in Python. Okay. So, what is underscore underscore? If you have method underscore underscore prefix and postfix, means this method will be invoked internally in Python without being required to be called explicitly. So, the methods which has underscore underscore before and after, it will call automatically, no need to call explicitly. This Python underscore underscore method may or may not arguments, it is not compulsory to take arguments, but generally will declare variables arguments. for object initialization. You can also pass default arguments for its parameter. However, even though there is no such concept of constructor overloading in Python, one can still achieve polymorphism in case of constructors in Python on the basis of argument. Okay, that we will discuss later. Now, see the syntax. Okay, underscore init a dummy variable called self. Here we will give the initialization statements here in this function. Okay, this is the syntax for defining a method. Which method? Init method. It is called constructor. It is called class constructor. Now, see here, see the example here, class employee underscore init self. So, this contains initialization values. Okay, I will show you one example. So, what I will do? I will declare class employee, class employee, right. Now, I will create one constructor def. How? By using underscore init underscore and self variable. Okay, what is self variable? We will discuss. Then what will be here? I will say self dot employee ID equals to for example 900. See, we are initializing this employee ID with this 900. So, this statements, this init method contains all initial statements. Self dot name, for example, EMP name, employee name equals to, for example, Rohit, right. Self dot salary equals to 10,000, for example. So, this is called initialization. Right. Now I will create object E1, for example, E1 is the name